Chevy's new gas V8 is quite impressive. I'll include a link to the Jerry Signer Chevy's website in the description down below. They're providing us with this truck. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get right into it. Powering this is a 6.6 liter gas V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic. It puts out 401 horsepower and then 464 pound-feet of torque. I'm trying to hit 500,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help out with that. Now, this truck that we're using for the video is a Trail Boss. It's a loaded up one. So you've got red recovery points. It also has all-terrain tires, and you've got upgraded off-road shocks. Trail Boss decal here on the bed side, and yeah, we've got plenty of space here in the bed itself. So yeah, basically it's an off-road HD, and this one's the 3500 version. Now, our payload capacity with this V8 is 3,965 pounds. Our gross vehicle weight rating is 11,550 pounds, and then the tow rating is 16,000 with conventional. If you do a gooseneck, you're 18,300 pounds. And since the diesel is pretty pricey, this is a good roughly $10,000 less than an equivalent diesel. Let's see how this performs. This week's giveaway features a limited edition 850 horsepower Mustang Dark Horse, as well as a custom 455 horsepower Bronco Raptor, and $45,000 to cover the taxes on the vehicles if you win. Use code BHC or click the link in the video description or the pinned comment. This will give you 4x entries on any donation, $25 or more. Not only that, these donations go to help both children's and veterans charities. So click the link below. Best of luck, and hope to see you in a Bronco Raptor and Mustang Dark Horse soon. These 6.6 liter gas V8. This is an interesting engine. The thing that I find most intriguing about this is the fact that it doesn't really put out any more power than the 6.2. Now, obviously how this develops power, right? It's got a lot of low-end grunt to it. It's gonna be a little bit different than the 6.2, which is kind of, I mean, it's still a torquey engine, but it's more of like a top-end engine in a lot of ways. But yeah, it's just interesting. And you know, I wonder how long HD trucks are still gonna have gas V8s. The reason I say that is I'm wondering if we're gonna have a transition into, just like what we've seen other vehicles, smaller turbo engines. Like, are we going to see a bunch of turbo V6 or turbo inline 6 HD trucks in the future? Time will tell. Hybrids will probably come. I think that's something that a lot of people would be more open to, is like a hybrid diesel. Sounds pretty appealing, honestly. Extra low-end torque. With something that's already got a lot of low-end torque. Now, actually setting off, yeah, this thing's got a solid torque right off the bat. The suspension, obviously being an HD truck, it's gonna bump around a bit. It does have independent suspension in the front, which helps out to an extent, but the back end with the leaf springs and everything's bouncing around enough that, well, you're still going to get a bit of a bumpier ride. Not incredibly uncomfortable, but just bumpier. Yeah, this really does have good power though. See, it goes over the train tracks. Not too bad. And the all-terrain tires on this Trail Boss package could be making things a little bit bumpier than they might be with a truck that has more street-oriented tires. Something to consider. And I think it doesn't help that Chevy's seats are firm, that's for sure. They're not horrible, but they are firm. This engine makes an interesting noise. Like the 6.2's got this like aggressive kind of muscle car sound to it. This, it's like you just hear a bunch of intake noise. It's old school sounding in a lot of ways. Less exhaust, more intake. And you know, I don't think they do I was gonna say they don't do double paned with these. I don't think it's insanely insulated up front here. I mean, whatever you say about this engine, it's quite competent in terms of just driving around. And the biggest thing that I'm noting is the torque. That low end torque is very impressive. So I guess to cap things off for this, again, this is mostly about the V8 with this particular review. A little bit about the truck, but mostly about the V8. I guess we'll kind of talk about the truck. I think the off-road package is cool. I think that, more off-road trucks the better. Look at that. It's not a rocket ship, but it can get out of its own way. It's pretty quick. Yeah, the truck itself, it's got a nice interior. It looks good on the outside, and that's kind of what's important for a lot of truck buyers nowadays, is the exterior looks. And this has it. When it comes to the drive, again, the suspension and the seats firm, so you do feel that. But other than that, other than it being an HD truck with slightly firm seats, the engine performance is quite impressive for a gas V8 in an HD truck. It doesn't necessarily sound the best. It's, again, kind of an interesting intake noise that's pretty much all you hear, but it's got tons of low-end torque. It's actually very impressive how much torque this has. And the top end's not bad either. Again, you're only working with 464 pound-feet of torque, so it's not, and it only has 401 horsepower, so it's not kind of a crazy top end. But it can get out of its own way. And I think overall it's a pretty competent, pretty capable engine. I just don't know how many people are going to want this in this expensive of a truck. I can understand more of a baseline, but this is over $70,000. I think a lot of people at that price point are probably going to want to go diesel. So I could see this, if they did, they should do like a, you know what they should do with the HDs? Just like they do, so in the half tons, they do a custom Trail Boss. So you can get a diesel Trail Boss, mid-50s. The HDs are obviously going to be more expensive, but they should do a custom Trail Boss with the HD. And yeah, you can get it with either this or the diesel. The diesel's obviously going to have, like, I think it's like a $9,000 option. But that would be a really cool package, because then you could get this gas version. This is in the 70s. You get it probably in the 60s, which is still expensive, but getting an off-road capable HD truck with what is supposed to be a pretty darn reliable V8, that's an appealing package, if you ask me. That's a very appealing package. Let me know if you guys would like to see that. I think that'd be cool, because the custom Trail Boss 1500 is like my favorite Silverado. So if they had that with the HD, I think that would be great. But also, they need to make the HD Trail Boss a little bit more off-road capable, like slightly bigger tires, a little bit less wheel. The wheels are a little bit oversized. So let me know your thoughts.